Tonight on SUTV News, a new selfie zone allows people to celebrate a big accomplishment in a safe way.
And we have the latest details on the fatal shooting in Aberdeen, Maryland.
All that and more right now. Thanks for joining us on SUTV News. I'm Jordan Hanley.
And I'm Patrick Ramsdale. A woman killed 3 people and wounded 2 others at a drugstore distribution center in Harford County, Maryland today. The shooter used a single handgun in the attack and is currently in custody and in critical condition at a local hospital. The authorities say no law enforcement officers fired shots during their response. Rite Aid spokeswoman Susan Henderson says about 1,000 employees work at the distribution center. A source close to the investigation said the shooter is a disgruntled employee. The source says she attempted to shoot herself in the head once. It didn't work, so she shot herself in the head again. While Hurricane Florence may have passed, for some states the worst is yet to come. Though much damage was sustained from the storm itself, the real damage in some cases will come in the form of flooding in the following week. We sat down with Dr. Tim Hawkins for his opinion on what we can expect.
The much bigger problem, we probably don't know the full extent of it yet, 2 or 3 days after the storm has moved out, will be the inland rain and just the huge amount of flooding. So many of the streams in the North Carolina region are in major flood stage, and in some cases record-setting flood stage, and that's going to continue for at least another week, if not longer. So you got a lot of water that needs to drain out before you can even start thinking.
Hurricane Florence has been estimated to have caused over $20 billion in property damage, and that number seems to be growing by the day. For more information on Hurricane Florence, visit sutvnews.com.
Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley has set a deadline of 10 a.m. Friday for Christine Blasey's Ford's legal team to respond to a request to speak to his committee. CNN's Emily Schmidt has more on the upcoming Kavanaugh hearings.
There was something striking about the mood in the Dirksen Senate office building hallway Thursday, because once the people chanting support for Christine Blasey Ford went away, things got quiet. Unlike earlier in the week, when Senate Judiciary Committee members were busy explaining their testimony invitation to Judge Kavanaugh's accuser, members are now mostly behind closed doors and silent on social media, except for tweets like this, where Republican member John Cornyn praises Chairman Grassley for fairness to all with the nomination process. But the action we cannot see is fast and furious. Brett Kavanaugh went to the White House for the 4th straight day, preparing in case Monday's hearing happens, and he can defend himself in person against the sexual assault allegations he's already denied in his statement. A letter sent Thursday from Ford's legal team says a Monday hearing is, quote, not possible, that she would be prepared to testify next week under what she says are fair terms, which would ensure her safety, and that she still prefers a full investigation before she testifies.
It is so obvious that the committee is not treating her fairly.
We believe Christine Ford!
Senate demonstrators want their voices heard, but the voice most critical right now is Ford's. If she chooses not to speak, sources say Monday's hearing would likely be off, with the Senate panel moving to vote on Kavanaugh as early as midweek. In Washington, I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
Student research is always looking to raise the bar and to make a statement, and in this case, one of SHIP's students' research project, this fashion statement is one for the books. Samantha Brayton, sophomore chemistry major, has partnered with the Fashion Archives to study dresses that possibly contain arsenic in the fabric, a chemical compound that, when ingested, is known to be toxic. With the help of Reber Offner Summer research grant Brayton got to work with. Without damaging the actual dresses, Brayton spent weeks utilizing fabric samples to determine the amount of arsenic, if any, found in the dresses. In the following months, Brayton hopes to obtain the actual dresses and work with the Fashion Archives Museum with other pieces in their exhibit. When asked what her innovative research project can do for other students in the future, Brayton says that it will show them that taking a more unique route with the project in the world of chemistry is now possible.
If some were interested in analytical chemistry or just analyzing historical garments, or if they loved history but also loved chemistry but didn't know how to combine it, it's a different route for them to go if they wish to do that, because it's new, it's kind of exciting, everyone's kind of talking about it from what I can see.
The Reber Offner Summer Grant awards women in the STEM science, technology, engineering, and math in order to conduct research. For more information about the Reber Offner Grant or Samantha's ongoing research project, visit sutvnews.com.
Visited the Cub at all this week, you may have noticed some colorful merchandise on display. This is the work of Jordan Snyder and his self-made business, Long Way Trading Company. With jewelry, hoodie, tapestry, and iconic pins, his style is guaranteed to keep you hip and happening. As a SHIP alum, Snyder makes it a priority to visit the campus and is always appreciative of loyal customers and friendly faces.
It's appreciated when people are excited to see me whenever they come back around, because it gets a little boring sitting back here. So people say hello a second time.
If you missed it this week, you can catch Snyder and his colorful creations next month. Comedian, writer, and Netflix star W. Kamau Bell is coming to Shippensburg next Wednesday, September 26th. The Emmy Award-winning television host will be hosting the program Ending Racism in about an hour on the Loras stage at 7 p.m. The event is free and open to the public. To learn more about Bell and his program, be sure to visit ship.edu. The Department of Global Languages and Cultures presents their 2018-2019 Movie Fest. The films featured are Academy Award winners for films in a foreign language. The official story is the first film to be screened on Wednesday, September 26th in the Orndorff Theater. This is a free event for all students and faculty. For more information, visit sutvnews.com.
Sometimes fast food is the only option, but you can still be healthy even if you grab something from the drive-thru. More in today's Health Minutes.
Eating healthy doesn't have to be hard. When ordering fast food, think veggies first.
You want about half your plate to be vegetables. Look at the sides, look at the salads.
But salads can pack a caloric punch.
Any fried toppings we want to avoid, especially breaded fried chicken, which is a frequent fast food salad topping. We want to avoid oversized portions of cheese. One portion of cheese is about the size of a domino or 3 dice. And consider the portion of the salad dressing too. About 1 tablespoon, maybe 2, and usually an oil-based salad dressing would be your best bet, instead of a whole packet, which might be a 1/4 cup.
Also, skip the fries.
Steer clear of fried options and don't order a soda with your meal.
If you take a moment to consider your diet, fast food can still be healthy food.
Tailor your choices if you're frequently eating out to what's healthy.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Mary Maloney.
A ground beef producer issued a recall due to a deadly E. coli outbreak. The U.S. Department of Agriculture said Wednesday Cargill Meat Solutions recalled nearly 133,000 pounds of ground chuck. 18 people who ate the meat became sick and 1 died. The recalled meat was produced June 21st and distributed nationwide. The USDA inspection mark on the package says EST 86R inside. If you still have ground chuck in your freezer with that mark, you should throw it away or return it to the store. A new selfie zone gives new license holders a secure alternative when posting pictures celebrating their achievement. This won't do away with the sometimes awful ID pictures, but it should be a safer way to celebrate new credentials. Delaware's Department of Transportation launched safe selfie zones in an effort to protect privacy in the digital age. The zones are colorful backdrops at DMV offices. Newly minted license holders can use them to snap a celebratory shot after getting the license. The idea came when a DMV employee noticed a lot of people snapping pictures of their brand new licenses and posting these pictures on social media. The problem is licenses contain sensitive identifying information that can be stolen and misused. When we come back in world news, hidden needles and pins are found in unlikely fruit.
We'll tell you more after the break. An airline makes a major typo.
SUTV Matt Kleindens has this week's world news. Matt?
The European Union has opened up a new front with its war with the U.S. tech giants. After dealing major blows to both Apple and Google, EU Competition Commissioner Margaret Vestager is now adding Amazon to her antitrust hit list. Brussels says it's investigating whether the company used data from smaller third-party sellers to gain an edge over its competitors. In Australia, strawberry companies are taking measures against what the government is calling a vicious crime. Someone has hidden needles and pins inside fresh strawberries sold across the country. Now companies are using metal detectors to scan their supplies. At least 1 person has been hospitalized and several brands have been recalled. The tampering was first reported in Queensland. Police say later incidents may be the work of copycats. You don't have to be a scientist to know that breathing polluted air is bad for your health, but a new study shows it may be killing your brain. Researchers in London discovered people living in the top 20% most polluted areas of the city were 40% more likely to be diagnosed with dementia. Their findings were published in the medical journal BMJ Open. The scientists admit they only uncovered the link, and more studies are needed to determine causation. However, it corroborates Canadian studies that looked at people living near major roadways and a Chinese study linking pollution to reduce cognitive performance. London researchers also say noise pollution could be an additional contributing factor. And finally tonight, an honest mistake or a clever marketing ploy. One thing's for certain, this one's a massive typo. Cathay Pacific had to tweet out an apology after letting one of its planes fly around with a Titanic misspelling. Cathay Pacific without the F. You'd think it would be too big to miss, but observers in Hong Kong were quick to spot the error. The airline did reassure language lovers everywhere that this would not be a long-term lived special edition. That's it for World News. My name is Matt Kleinens. Let's send it back to the desk.
Now let's send it over to the Slate's Michaela Valonio for this week's Slate Preview.
Michaela?
Coming up in the Slate next week, we will cover Constitution Day as well as the Red Raider football game against the Bloomsburg University Huskies on Saturday. Other stories include the Slate staff's editorial on the controversial new Supreme Court Justice nominee, coverage of the Wyeth documentary created by a Shippensburg University graduate, and Shippensburg Beer and Wine Festival happening this Saturday. Be sure to pick up the next edition of the Slate on Tuesday in newsstands around you.
When we come back in entertainment, a famous TV duo makes a long-awaited statement after major speculation.
And Marley brings some sweeter weather into our upcoming week.
I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to some sweeter sweater weather.
Well, let's send it over to Marley to see this week's weather.
Showers may finally be behind us as we enter the next week, so get your sweaters ready. Today we can expect a low of 67 with a cloudy night, and Friday we'll have a high of 80 as well as a low of 63 with clouds and a 20% chance of rain. Now let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. To start us off, Saturday we can expect a high of 70 and a low of 56 and mostly cloudy. Sunday we will have a high of 66 with a low of 55 and it will be mostly cloudy. Now with Monday we will have a high of 67 with a low of 60 and be prepared for showers. On Tuesday there will be a high of 71 and a low of 67 with more showers. And ending on Wednesday we will have a high of 65 and our low will be 49. We can also expect it to be partly cloudy. Hopefully temperatures will keep dropping as we move into October. Back to you guys.
After 5 years of silence, Avril Lavigne has resurfaced. Last night she released her new single, Head Above Water, and immediately began making waves. Scoring the #2 spot on iTunes, the song was inspired by her battle with Lyme's disease. Lavigne expressed how she felt like she was drowning one night and in that moment found the lyrics. The singer has also started a foundation in her name to fight the disease and confirms that more new songs are on the way. Act 5 has narrowed their search for this year's spring musical from a pool of 5 musicals to 3.
Our top 3 right now are Mamma Mia, Carrie, and Grease, but by next Monday we will have our show for next semester.
The musical will be decided this Monday. Auditions and callbacks for the spring musical will start in November. SHIP hosted a Latin dance class yesterday with a professional dancer. SUTV's Megan Malinak has the story.
Students were shaking up the dance floor while celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month in the Cub NPR room on Wednesday, September 19th. Wanda Holdren, a Puerto Rican native, came to help students learn traditional Latin dances. Holdren also expressed the importance of understanding the Hispanic culture.
Well, as you know, our society is coming from different cultures. And it's good that we want to learn to one to another, educate ourselves where we're coming from. And this is part of who we are.
She also discussed the meaning behind some of the masks that were used in the dances.
The mask that I have is a mask that we call el gigante. Okay? That mask, they used to use that mask for the 12th century, for St. James Festival. It's kind of push all the bad spirits. That's what our ancestors believe.
Some students were able to experience the culture firsthand. Holdren was excited to say that she would love to come back and continue to express her passion for dance to more Shippensburg students in the future. Food and refreshments were also available to those attending.
To find even more events like this, go to the Cub Info desk for more. Movie trailers were a huge hit this week as audiences got a sneak peek of 2 exciting films. Starting with Mary Poppins Returns, the 1964 Disney classic character is making a comeback to the big screen. The new film brings us back to the streets of London, where the magical nanny is back to watch over the bank's kids. With a star-studded cast including Lin-Manuel Miranda, Emily Blunt, and Meryl Streep, as well as the original animations, it's sure to go down sweet like a spoonful of sugar. The trailer for Captain Marvel was also released this week. The film follows the story of a fighter pilot turned superhero as she tries to save the world from an alien war. Mary Poppins will premiere in December, but for Captain Marvel, you'll have to wait till 2019. The iconic Sesame Street duo Bert and Ernie revealed some interesting news. It has been confirmed that they are in fact a gay couple. Scriptwriter Mark Saltzman says he wrote the characters as a reflection of his own same-sex relationship, where he and Ernie and his partner was Bert. In the past, there has been much speculation as to whether or not this was actually true. Many officials of the show continue to deny Saltzman's comment, but tell fans to see the characters in any way they wish. That's it for entertainment. Let's head back to the desk.
When we come back in sports, a volleyball player gets Athlete of the Week.
And the football team had a rough showing. We have the highlights.
Slippery Rock, Ship football was back in action at home against another PSAC West powerhouse, Cal U. Let's take a look at the highlights. And here are the Raiders fresh off a 2-0 start, but Cal put it to them in the first half. It's 34-0. Picking up in the third quarter, Bryson Messina drops back, finds all reliable Josh Kontarek for the touchdown. Ship finally on the board, 34-7. But Cal answered back quickly. Big man, Nelson Brown, taking it up the gut, 43 yards. He's gone, ladies and gentlemen. That's a touchdown. And Cal back up 40-7. Ship fighting hard, though. Messina here drops back. He's going to find the tight end, Shea O'Donnell, 27 yards for the touchdown. It's 40-14. Fourth quarter now, Messina, he drops back here. He's throwing across the middle. The ball tipped up in the air and falls into the hands of cornerback Lamont McFadder. 5 turnovers by Ship's offense results in a 57-14 win for Cal. Ship is on the road Saturday at Bloomsburg to take on the Huskies at 6. Junior Kendall Johnson was named PSAC Central Athlete of the Week for her efforts against IUP and Clarion. Johnson totaled 16 kills and 10 blocks in the 2 games and helped the volleyball team move to a 2-0 conference record.
Personally, I would just like to keep this momentum. I was really lucky to have also gotten PSAC Player of the Week this almost same weekend last year. So this year I want to take that and kind of keep it up and keep the momentum going, not stop, staying strong, push through and finish through the season because it does get really long. I think the really lucky thing this year is that as a team we're all on the same page where we want to win. We want our year to be on the banner in Higas. We want that PSAC championship, that ring. So that's something that every single time we're in the gym, something that we're working towards.
Volleyball will be continuing their run through PSAC play as they will be hosting Seton Hill Friday night at 7. In field hockey, Ship was ranked #1 in the nation and had a tough matchup with #3 East Stroudsburg. Here is Patrick Ramsdale with the highlights.
Picking it up in the second half, Raiders down 4-0. They have to stop a penalty corner from ESU where a flurry of quick passes forces Megan Lay to make a miraculous diving save. Later in the half, Yasmin Petrantonio rushes down the sideline and she takes a shot that travels wide. Minutes later, ESU takes a hard shot that lands at the feet of Megan Lay and she boots that one away, allowing Shippensburg to go on the offensive. Off a corner, Petrantonio takes a shot and that's blocked by the Warriors defense. The Raiders' efforts were not enough, however, as they lose this one 4-0. For SUTV Sports, I'm Patrick Ramsdale.
Field hockey is back in action at Mansfield on Saturday at 1. Last but not least, this week's Stat of the Week. This week's Stat of the Week goes to senior forward Cole Kropnick of the men's soccer team. Kropnick was the force to be reckoning with in their last game against Goldie Beacom, where Kropnick scored 2 goals in the first half to help Ship win 3-2. Kropnick leads the entire PSAC with 7 goals this year, and the men are off to a great start to the season with a record of 4 wins and 1 loss. Cole Kropnick's 2 goals is this week's Stat of the Week. Tune in next week to see who comes home with the Stat of the Week, and as always, if you work like that, you get the stat. Now, that's it for sports. Let's send it back to the desk.
A neighbor dispute in Florida has the world cringing.
We'll tell you more after the break.
A Florida man is driving his neighbors nuts. That's because he prefers to do his yard work in his birthday suit.
WPBF's Gianna Caserta reports.
People who live in this Stewart neighborhood say their neighbor does yard work and walks around his property naked. They say they've called the sheriff's office, but deputies say there's nothing they can do.
I came out, was it Sunday night, put the trash out. I look over and he's bent over, winding up his hose, and like, that's my view of my neighborhood.
Concerned neighbors want to crack down on this naked truth. The man who lives at the end of their street is a nudist.
He works on his car and he does it naked. And, you know, everyone's called the police, but he's just out there doing his yard work, is whatever he needs to do outside naked.
Nude yard work? Neighbors can't bear it.
Have some respect for the neighborhood kids. Kids catch the bus here. It's wrong.
Several people in the neighborhood have called the Martin County Sheriff's Office, but say deputies tell them as long as he isn't touching himself inappropriately, there's nothing they can do since he's on his own property.
I've seen these people actually stand on their front step, buck naked, both of them, and talk to a police officer, sheriff's department. The sheriff's department told me to turn my head.
We found one person who doesn't have an issue with the neighbor stripped down to, well, nothing.
I'm not one of those people that have concerns just because it's their way of life and it's on their property and I know it's legal.
We spoke with the man in question off camera. He said he was not interested in doing an interview because he and his family are private people.
If they're private, you know, why are your privates on display? I mean, that's not private at all. That's very public.
Some neighbors say the next step is they're going to talk to him and see if they can work out some kind of compromise. Reporting from Stewart, I'm Gianna Caserta, WPBF 25 News.
That's it for SUTV News. I'm Jordan Hanley.
And I'm Patrick Ramsdale. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SUTV News, and check out our website, sutvnews.com.
We'll see you next week.